I'm going live today, and I wanted to tell you about something that happened. I I've been doing this trading in these accounts, so these automated trading bots. And yesterday, something very shocking happened with the. Uh, hey, Suleiman. Hey, Alina. Hey, Norta. And yesterday, something really shocking happened with the digital profit trading app accounts. And apparently, the market as well. It went in a sharp reverse to what was expected. And so, and I'm guessing that their software and the way they told us to set it up was not correct because it blew my trading account. What does that mean? It means I lost thousands of dollars in that trading account. So, um, and when so I saw that yesterday, and that was a big blow. That was pretty shocking. And you know, I just had to remind myself about how what I had to be grateful for, right? I'm grateful that I can afford to lose that amount of money where a lot of people couldn't. I'm grateful that even though it was a lot of money, it as a percentage wise, it's something that I can recover from, right? And I'm grateful that I have all of the beautiful things that I have, right? I have income, I have a place to live, I have people that I love and care about, right? So it's good to count your blessings. So for me, I was definitely trying to count my blessings despite that big loss, and also trying to figure out what went wrong, right? Because when I decided to invest with that software, I asked them, I asked the people who were running it, the people who signed me up, to tell me, how to set it up and what multiples and how to do it all. And I followed their instructions on how to do it. And they had claimed that this software, has always been positive every month, and it's, has a good track record and blah, blah, blah. Well, it wasn't until after this happened that I began to see and many, many people lost thousands of dollars. So after this happened, I began to see in the chat that this software actually had a bad trading day a few weeks before. And this was before I had connected it to my accounts. But nobody told me. And the person who had signed me up didn't even tell me this, right? That he had lost quite a lot of money a few weeks before. And so that kind of thing is a huge issue, right? When we talk about the framework, we talk about giving people full information on something, full information of the risks. Hey, Jay, how are you? We're talking about telling them exactly what happened, right? And saying, hey, this happened to us a few weeks ago. So also letting them know, even if it makes them not buy your product, even if it makes them, because maybe they still will buy it, maybe they'll just change how much they put in it, right? If they know that it hasn't performed or that there is a risk like that, then they might change how much they put in it. When you're signing up people for something like a financial product, you really have to give them all the facts before they can make a decision. Now, this is the same topic I was talking about yesterday, right? When I was talking about how governments or pharmaceutical companies or something trying to force people to make decisions without giving them all the facts first so that they can really know and understand how to judge what they're doing. And so I would say that is a huge issue with what happened to me and the losses I got because they were not honest enough, I guess I would say, right? I don't think they were trying to be dishonest, but they were not honest enough in actually telling about what the real results, what had happened with the software previously, that there had been some days with fairly significant losses. None of that was disclosed. They were just said, hey, this is like great and it has great returns overall. Well, overall for 6 months, maybe it did, but um, they also need to tell you like what days what it could lose, right? Because when you're saying, oh, well, it only loses, a small amount, but overall it's always positive, blah, 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 then you're misleading people if that is not the case, right? And so when you entice somebody to enter into taking action based on what you tell them without giving them all the facts and the risk, then that creates a problem, right? And that can even rise to the level of what we call fraud. So the other thing that happened was that the people who were talking to me and telling me how to set up the account and what numbers and multiples, et cetera, to use, obviously did not understand that well enough themselves and had me do it in a way that was not the most beneficial. Okay. And there's also the possibility that there's issues with the software and the broker and other things like that. I don't know. I am telling them that they need to investigate the situation. They need to investigate all the people's accounts because a lot of people did not lose as much as I did, and their accounts were set up similarly. So I was like, is there an issue with the software and the trades, or is it a broker issue where the broker is closing out trades too early and burning your account? Anyway, regardless to say, uh, that is a serious risk when it comes to doing the trading in the way they did it. And they had said that the way they had set up the accounts, it did not have that risk. That's what they had said in their marketing, that they had set it up so that it wouldn't do that. It would have stop losses and stuff like that. And my question to them is like, where is that? Why didn't that happen? And how come you didn't teach people to set up their accounts in such a way that would make that impossible to happen? Anyway, there is a lot, I think, to learn from that. And what I can say is I'm grateful that it was only my money and that, I was able, I could afford to lose it, even though it's never a good thing to lose that kind of money. The other software that I set up before, the Manifest software, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Suleiman, because I think you have that too. I didn't see any losses in that. They trade in a different way. So they haven't shown any big losses from yesterday's market reversal. So even though they did make some, I would say, poor decisions, rookie mistakes, at least the way that they are doing it. And there was a time when they did trade and there was quite a loss, but they stopped it and they closed out the trades. They didn't let it keep going. So people generally didn't lose their principal, even though maybe they lost, or they maybe lost a small amount of principal if they had just signed up. So yeah, so that's why, trying out these different things and trying to understand them, but trying out something and seeing a loss like that when you're following people's recommendations who you trust and who claim that they know what they're doing, that's a tough thing, right? It's a tough thing to happen. So anyway, when I woke up this morning, of course, I was feeling a bit bad. And I had a check that I should open, that I should read something, just open the Bible and read something. So when I opened it, this was the first verse that my eyes fell on. And it says, "Go eat your food with rejoicing and drink your wine with a cheerful heart, for already the true God has found pleasure in your works. May your clothing always be white, and do not fail to put oil on your head." So that's from Ecclesiastes. And the Bible was just sitting open on the floor. And when I picked it up, that was the first verse my eyes fell on. And so I said, you know what? Okay. I said, no, I'm going to follow that advice. Say, go eat your food with rejoicing and drink your wine with a cheerful heart, for already God has found pleasure in your works. Right? So even though just reminding me that even when bad things happen, to keep a cheerful heart, to know that all of the good work that we are doing. There's so much that we are doing that I've been working on with my book and everything to help other people. And that is a blessing. And I could be grateful for that, right? And to keep cheerful, right? So it says to wear white clothes, which actually is translated, it means bright or happy, cheerful colors. So that's what I put on today, right? And sometimes a lot about perseverance in the face of trouble is to bounce back and to find a way to keep a cheerful heart, right? So that is the lesson for today. Nanorta is saying, let me see, Suleiman is actually saying, I'm desiring to start trading. And I don't think trading is necessarily bad, but definitely important to educate yourself and be careful when people are advertising certain things, right? Norta is saying, now I'm thinking not to invest. Maybe one day I will. I've got to be careful. Yes, you do have to be careful, right? There's always a risk in investing. But the goal is that products that people are presenting and the way that they should set it up is so that you're not at risk of losing everything that's in the account like that. That is a fault of the people who set that up and who taught people how to set that up, right? And that is something that can be mitigated against. That risk can be mitigated against if they had been caring enough and thoughtful enough and had enough foresight to set it up properly and to teach people to set it up properly so that wouldn't happen to them, right? And that is one of the big issues. Now, it's possible that some people were saying set it up one way and other people were saying set it up another way. And some people didn't lose nearly that much. So, what I have been telling them is that they need to do a serious investigation of the procedures of everybody's accounts, of how they were set up, so that they can come up with the right recommendations in the future so that even if a major market event happens like this, people will not be at risk in that way. And I hate to say it, but in both of these groups that I've been in so far, I end up being the one when there's a loss that I have to warn them about how they should be running their business. And like Manifest did, they actually did take my advice. When I explained to them the issue of what they had done that had lost people money, they actually went and changed their procedures. And they opened a specialized account with a higher risk because I said you can't change people's risk profile without alerting them beforehand because they buy in a certain way at a certain risk profile, right? So you can't change that without telling them first, which is what they had done. That was the issue that they had. And so they followed my advice. They opened a separate account with a higher risk so that people could choose if they wanted to have a higher risk, right? Versus what happened here with these guys. I think that they are just maybe they've been testing the software, but they just hadn't set up the right precautions and they hadn't taught people who were signing people up to put the right precautions in place so that people didn't lose all their accounts. And that's just, that is a big issue. So anyway, it doesn't mean that Norta says there's always a risk for sure. She says the Bible is very good. Yes, girl, good for you for reading. Hey, out of the box. And Norta says, I'm glad you were able to share with us. There's always a risk for sure. Right. And Suleiman says, I'm not financially strong. Yeah, so I don't want to say that we shouldn't invest because I 100% do believe in investing. And there's lots of stuff that I have done that is paying off very well over the long term. I was sad that this thing, because I had thought that this was a really good thing for people with smaller amounts of money to make a really good return. And so I was sad to see this fail on that front because I had hoped that this could be something that I could share with more people that could help them in investing. But at this point, I definitely cannot share that, right? After seeing that what they did and the advice they gave completely blew accounts with thousands and thousands of dollars. So, I think it's something that it's not like I'm against it now, but definitely needing them to do more investigation and put in place much better protections and procedures to make it impossible, right? So I've asked them, I've said, is it possible to set your account so that you couldn't lose more than, say, 25% of the overall principal, that it would just shut the trades down, right? So that no more than that would be at risk. There's things like that that they need to have had put in place properly and have taught people how to do beforehand so that people could adjust that if that was what they wanted. Anyway, so it's a learning experience. It's a tough learning experience, but like I said, like the Bible said, you know, eat with a cheerful and joyful heart, and keep positive, right? Because we do have so much to be grateful for, and I know I do have so much to be grateful for. So, not gonna let it get me down. Not today, anyway. Okay. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will continue to share with you what I learned from these experiences, and I hope that it will help you guys in your journey and search too. Love you. Bye, Jay. Bye, Suleiman. Bye, Nanorta. See you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you. She says, I hope you have a good day too. Thank you. I appreciate it.